Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips on how to achieve your desires. That's right, I didn't say dreams, I didn't say goals, I didn't say wishes, your desires. And the reason why this is going to be completely different than what you've ever heard of before is because I go on the deep dive. I submerge myself and go to the root of the cause of the problem and pull it out and share it with you so that you can have a deeper understanding of why you may not be achieving these other external things, such as goals, dreams, and wishes, right? So it comes down to desire, okay? So I'm going to share with you also 3 shapes. I want you to look at them and then identify which one you think you are. Now, if you're fearless enough, post it in the comments and let the world know which shape you think you are. Or if you struggle about this and maybe you want to talk about it privately, that you identify yourself as one of these images and you want to break out of it, you want to be different and you want to actually get your desires, then go into the description and book a discovery call so that not only we can discover what it is, but also how to create an action plan to get through it. All right, so let's dive right in. The first image you're going to see here is the circle. Now, this doesn't mean you are a circle or you're in the shape of a circle, but what this circular mindset is very simple. Maybe you've heard about this before. Have you ever found yourself repeating bad habits, repeating the same thing over and over again? Have you ever had situations in life where it seems like history is repeating itself and it's not taking that long of a time? Like it's not 100 years go by. It's like 1 week after another or 1 month after another. You see these things reoccurring in your life. If that's you, then you might be in a circular pattern. One of the biggest things I've seen is people getting in past mistakes. They'll maybe like constantly repeating bad mistakes and constantly failing and not having real breakthrough or real success or real achievement in their goals, dreams, and wishes. So that would be this pattern. Another pattern for a circular individual would be someone who is constantly learning and never doing. Okay, so this would be someone who is consistently like reading about the topic, listening to podcasts, jumping on videos, maybe getting enrolled in courses. And I don't mean as in a better and improving their way. This is more of like improving their knowledge, but actually not getting to the finish line of what they truly desire. This is more of beating around the circle like over and over again, like you're learning, you're studying, you're reading, but are you getting the desires? Are you getting the results that you want? Are you achieving the goals and the dreams that you want? So that would be someone who's in a circular pattern. Now, if that's you, then throw yourself in the comment section. Let us know. Make your declaration and let yourself know, hey, I'm a circular person. This stuff keeps going on in my life and I'm tired of it. If you're tired of it, if you're tired of thinking you need one more piece of information, one more course, one more training, one more live event, that is not going to happen. I'm sure if you've ever experienced that and you've been disappointed, that's really what it ends up doing, is creating disappointment. The circular individual ends up just going around and around, beating around the bush, and never really finds achievement and never really satisfies their desires because they're in this pattern holding. The next one is the zigzag individual. This person, I can tell you right now, I have been this person. I sometimes am this person, and sometimes I'm the next image I'm about to show you. So what is this person like? Now, this person operates on a very excited and up and down pattern. Now, some people would call this, some people will call this like ADHD. I have ADHD and I have that. I don't subscribe to that channel, but I would say this. This type of pattern means if you know your 6 human needs. Now, I do talk about this in another video, but if you know what your 6 human needs are and what your maybe primary would be, then this might help understand that. So this type of person who's living in a zigzag, world is going to be someone who constantly gets excited about a project or an endeavor, a business opportunity, and goes all excited, but then dies out. Then there's another one, goes all in and dies out. And sometimes they fail. Sometimes there's this huge peak and they do really well, and then they fail. Or sometimes they get bored right? I've been in that position where I can actually get into a project for a year or two, and all of a sudden I'm bored. So I either have to sell the business or bring in a partner or something to keep the momentum going. But this type of person is driven by this up and down type of behavior, and it creates a very unique type of performance in an individual. Basically, you're going to get a bunch out of them all at once, and then sometimes you're not going to get anything out of them. Sometimes they even crash. Sometimes they feel like, oh my gosh, my life is going on. Then it looks like maybe like the stock market. So I want to share with you that these types of individuals have a hard time of achieving anything of importance. They have a hard time of reaching their true desires, because sometimes what they'll do is they'll go from one thing to another, to another, to another. Now, this person tends to be a starter and not a finisher. And this is why I said I've been in this situation. Sometimes I have to like readjust myself to get back into the next image that I'm about to show you. So if you're in this position where you start projects but you never finish, this might be you. And if it's you, you can throw it in the comments. Throw it in the comments if you're fearless, and let us know if you're ready to do that. But here's the thing: if this person does not get into some type of new opportunity or some type of project, they can really feel low. They can really feel at like down and depressed, and to a point where they feel like, hey, I don't think there's anything left for me, right? Or they need a fix. They need something to take them up, and they're looking for the next opportunity. This can be very normal for people sometimes, where, well, actually all of these stages can be very normal, but the differentiating factor from the circle to this person is they actually get a bit done. They actually do perform to a degree. They actually do achieve their desires to a degree. But then there's something even deeper that I want to share with you, and that's in the next image. Now, this next image, I tell you, I'm going to be the most jealous of. Sometimes I've seen these people, they can like read a book, maybe even like 3 chapters of a book, and all of a sudden they're off to the races and getting it done and achieving so much of what they want. This person is called the straight line person. This type of individual knows what they want. They have complete clarity, and they are pushing forward and moving the line, moving the needle, getting to their desired outcomes and dreams. And this concept actually comes from a book called Straight Line Thinking. It actually is one of the most powerful concepts that I've ever heard in achieving results. So if you've been thinking or trying and maybe even failing at getting things done and wondering why you haven't achieved them, then you're going to want to follow this method. And I'm going to share with you tips that you can implement right away into your life and in your business, and get these results that you're looking for. So here we go. Here's some 5 steps I want to share with you. Step number 1, decide what you intend to accomplish. This is critical. You've probably heard this said before, maybe in some books, begin with the end in mind. Dale Carnegie says that. I think, and there's a bunch of other authors that write about this. Begin with the end in mind. Know what it is you want to accomplish. Know what it is. Know what your desire is, but you have to decide. See, step number 1 is decide, right? Deciding is critical. Saying yes or no to something is critical. If you are constantly a yes person, saying yes to everyone, yes, I'll do this, yes, I'll do that, because maybe you feel inferior, or maybe you feel inadequate. Maybe you feel like, oh, if I say no, they're going to get upset, right? Or if I say no, I'm not going to be considered for a promotion. If I say no, then they're going to think ill of me. They're going to think like I'm not part of the team. But sometimes you have to know that where you're going is going to take a lot of no's. Sometimes where you're going, you have to say no to distractions. You have to say no to a bunch of things. And speaking of distractions will actually deter you from your desires. I was having a conversation with my buddy just recently, and we were talking about distractions. And today, there is more distractions than ever before. With not only, I can just name a few social media accounts and platforms that will distract you to, the whole goal is to distract you and to keep you on the platform, watching video after video, make you laugh and giggle after hours on end. And years ago, and I have said this in many other videos of mine about productivity and increasing productivity, you have to be mindful of where your time goes. I wrote a book called The Time Management Tactics. You can get it on Amazon, or you can probably download it from, or get it even from our library of resources. But time management is probably one of the most critical things that you need in your life to achieve your desires. Because what you want to do is not manage your time better. What you want to do is find the drainers. You want to find the time drainers. And whatever those are, you really want to say, okay, I need to allocate so much time to that. I need to allocate so much time to this particular thing. And that's where your intention comes in. So you have to decide on what you intend to do, and you do that by managing your time. It's one critical thing. Next, step 2, you want to define exactly what actions it will take from you to achieve the outcome. This is a very critical part, because sometimes you don't need to be the one to do it, but you need to delegate it to someone. You need to delegate the work or the process, the end result, whatever it may be. So you first have to define exactly what actions it will take, not what you will take, right? Actions it will take from you to achieve the outcome. So you might have to put someone in place. You may have to hire someone fractionally. You may have to delegate this to AI. You may have to use an AI agent to get things done, whatever it may be. But you have to define and design what actions it will take. Okay. Step number 3, you have to decide if you're willing to pay the price. This is critical. Are you willing to do what it takes? Are you going to have the attitude to do no matter what it takes to get this done? If you're not willing to pay the price to get whatever you want, then you're just going to get easily frustrated. After a while, you'd just be frustrated. And one of the things, this was where desire turns into goals. A lot of people, when they're writing out their goals, one, they don't really make them in the SMART method. They typically tend to don't have a definite deadline or when they want to achieve these things. But more than that, deeper than goals is the desire. And that's what I was sharing with you earlier. This lesson here is not about goals and wishes and dreams, because deeper than that is the desire. Desire is directly linked to motivation, okay? Desire is the will of what you really want to do. It's so deeply rooted within you. It's like, okay, let me give you an example. You may have goals, right? And your goals may be big, and sometimes you maybe keep them private and don't share them with family or friends. That's okay. It's okay. But do you have the desire to get up and start or do and get out there and make it happen? Let me give you an example, personal example. I have a desire to get more fit, right? It's actually, I rewind that. I have a desire, I have a goal to get more fit, right? It's a goal, it's an achievement. I want to be so many kilos, right? But do I have the desire to work out? Right? Do I have the desire to go to the gym? Do I have the desire to, right? You see the difference there? There's a difference between just setting a goal, a wish, right? And a dream, than actually the desire. Is the desire there? So identifying these desires will help you realign and help you make decisions to exactly what you want to achieve. Number 4, monitor your results of actions and make corrections when you need them. Now, monitoring is a critical part. It's identifying what you're doing. Are you on track? Is progress being made? This is critical. There's many ways you can do this. You can do this simply with like a pen and paper if you want to keep track that way. I personally don't recommend it. I personally like to use an app called Todoist. It's a simple personal app that I like to use to keep track of maybe personal projects, maybe a business dashboard as well. It's not deep. Right? Of course, when you're talking about, let's say, monitoring sales or monitoring marketing efforts, you're going to need some additional software to go deep and monitor those kinds of results. If you're looking at something simple, something to keep track, you can even use something as simple as the Reminders app in the phone. But I would suggest, if you really are serious about getting closer to your desires, use an app like Todoist. It's one of my favorites. I've done videos on this. I'll post it in the description, and you can definitely check that out to help you move forward. Step number 5, continue to take the required actions and steps and not stop until your outcome is realized. That means you don't give up. You do not stop. You keep going day in and day out, week after week. And the only way you will be able to do that is because the desire is there. This gets a lot easier. Stopping comes when you're frustrated. Stopping will happen when you're not aligned correctly. Maybe your goal is not really a deep desire, right? So this wish may be just so big. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. But do you have like the deep desire to do the work to get there, right? Do you have that deep motivation? What happens is when you are so crystal clear on your desires, when you're crystal clear on your mission, what ends up happening is you have this natural energy, this fire, this drive within you to go out and achieve it. Nothing else will matter, right? You'll be thinking about it day in and day out and day in and day out. You'll talk about it. You'll hear other people talking about it in some way, and it will just keep clicking on you. Just keep being like in your mind. That will become so much easier when you are aligned and know what your deep desires are. You've got to define the necessary required actions you'll be taking. And then you've got to do the necessary required actions without stopping. It's really that simple, are critical. So if you want to know how to discover, how to define, and get that kind of clarity, then get the Freedom Formula, and it will help you crystallize that, make it clear. You'll clear the fog out of your mind, and you'll be say, okay, I am clear now. This is what I need to do. These are my desires. This is where I'm going. Now let's put in the action and make it happen. And lastly, if you are looking to crystallize your desires and get clarity and remove the fog out of your life and define exactly what you're trying to do and achieve, and just have that revelation of saying, okay, this is what I'm gonna get done. You can go to braveideas.co/tips or get that in the description. And then you'll be able to download the Freedom Formula, start going to work, applying it, get that clarity, and then be able to get one step closer to the desires of your dreams. I'll see you in the next one.